In a movie, good narrative ability is very important. Elements such as frame, light and color, the lens, movement, texture, establishing, POV work together to create the narrative space of the scene. Cinematic composition involves the arrangement and layout of actors, props, colors, and other elements in accordance with their positions in time and space. It is the decomposition and combination of specific spaces. Reasonably arranging and organizing these elements within a series of frames highlights particular content and visual aesthetics. Next, I will use the South Korean film Train to Busan as an example to specifically analyze how these elements work together to achieve harmony in a scene. The main narrative line in the film is on the train, and the activities of the characters are mostly limited to the closed scenes of the carriage, so a large number of shots are completed in the closed carriages, and the closed composition is largely reflected in the film. 9-palace format composition is the most common, the most basic form of composition. In this picture, as men will face the baseball boy, the original classmates and friends, into a zombie, the zombie in the well 4 intersection, position stable, almost no breakthrough, highlight the men and others difficult. The triangular composition also exists heavily in the Train to Busan. In the following important fight scene to be launched, the 3 men fight side by side. The relationship between the 3 in the play respectively represents the blood affection, husband and wife feelings and campus love, with the male master as the center point formed a diagonal triangle, suggesting the stable and reliable relationship between the 3. Use of lighting and picture color. Because the inner space of the carriage is small and full of danger, the lighting design is mainly dark color tone, creating a depressed and tense atmosphere. However, at certain critical moments, the lights briefly illuminate their way, contrast light and shade, highlighting the actions and expressions of the characters. This lighting design not only enhances the hierarchy of the picture, but also increases the visual weight and guides the audience's sight and emotion. In addition to the train scene, the scene at the tunnel exit is also impressive. As the pregnant woman and the little girl walk out of the tunnel, the colors suddenly shine, which forms a sharp contrast to the darkness inside the tunnel, thus enhancing the visual impact. The picture adopts open composition. The dark picture and character silhouette expands the perception range of the audience, realizes the purpose of extending the image outside the picture, so that the limited screen shows the infinite space. This way of composition not only shows the moment when the characters walk out of the darkness, but also symbolizes their inner hope and new life. In the scene, the use of lighting and picture colors is equally excellent. The darkness inside the tunnel forms a strong contrast to the brightness outside the tunnel, and this contrast greatly enhances the hierarchy of the picture. In addition to the movie Train to Busan, the scene mentioned above, the rush of zombies on the train, is also a classic scene worth in-depth analysis. In the scene, a film uses a wide shot from above of countless zombies flooding into the hero's locomotive. This way of composition not only forms a strong visual impact, but also creates an overwhelming sense of oppression, making the audience feel the sense of the threat and urgency of zombies. In the whole scene, the director skillfully used the combination of various lens movement. When the zombie tide gradually approaching the locomotive, lens adopted the propulsion technique. In the process of the locomotive, the lens also shook around the movement. When the hero and other survivors faced the threat of the zombie tide, lens followed the hero, moving with the lens. This kind of camera movement enables the audience to have a deeper understanding of the psychological state and actions of the protagonist, and enhances the sense of substitution and urgency. The composition of Train to Busan cleverly uses closed spaces and narrow carriages to create a sense of urgency and despair. In terms of lighting, the audience feels the fear of light and shade, shadows and high contrast lighting. The use of camera scenes, such as using long shots to track characters' movements, short shots to increase the sense of rhythm, and close-up shots to capture characters' emotions, together, these elements make Train to Busan impress the audience both visually and emotionally.